Jupiter in Gemini. Man, oh man, big changes ahead. Coming up in this video, we're going to be talking about the next year going on with Jupiter in Gemini. Let's go. So, Jupiter in Gemini is going to be a big shift from Jupiter in Taurus. Now, we've had a lot of change and growth happen in Taurus, but before we get into Jupiter in Gemini, what is Taurus all about? Because that's what we just experienced this last year, right? Jupiter in Taurus was more about identifying and learning where we're lacking in our self-worth and self-confidence, what we desire, what we really want to create and be in this life. So we've had these challenges that we're really looking at our self-worth. What do we feel like we deserve, right? And especially having those the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, that leveled us up to a whole new vibration, if you will, of a vision of where we want to be. And so there may be a sort of sense of emptiness that you feel from that leveling up, because now it's like, crap, we got to go explore all these new things up on this new level. And if you're in a very controlled dynamic, if you have a very solid foundation, but there really is no solid foundation right now. The point of this leveling up is that the universe is asking us to step up, to step into a new level or layer of shoes to fill. And that feeling can be a little bit uncomfortable, especially if you have been very comfortable for a great majority of your life. But the fact is that collectively, we are all moving into a new timeline. And this happens every couple generations, right? Like during World War II, the entire world changed. It got very dark before it got better. Before that, right? Let's look World War One, the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, and so on and so forth. Right? And we are coming into another time right now in our generation where we are collectively moving into a new timeline. And we have the opportunity to choose within ourselves where we're going and what we're doing. So we have been infused with these intuitive ideas, these DNA upgrades, these downloads, these uploads, whatever you want to call it, these, the feeling of wanting to go to another level. And now with Jupiter moving into Gemini, it's going to give us that opportunity to start taking action on stepping into that new level. Now, I will say this, Jupiter is detriment in Gemini. What does that mean? Jupiter doesn't really, Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces. And Jupiter ruling Sagittarius in particular, which is opposed to Gemini, is seeing the big picture. It's wanting to expand. It's wanting to open up. It's wanting to get out there and, figure it out. Or going out there and exploring the big vision of things. But Gemini is about the little details of things. It's ruled by Mercury. So when Jupiter comes into a very mercurial sign, this is where we can get way flippy in our minds, right? It can. So if you are someone that is already a control freak or really stuck in your head about stuff all the time, this is going to bring that to a whole new level, and you are going to be the one that needs a lot of healing, that needs really to focus, to slow down and do nothing. For those of us that have been doing the work on the inside to slow ourselves down already, right? This is where we're going to have an opportunity to test that going out into the world. So in Taurus, it's, because Taurus is like desire, is feeling good, right? Wanting to feel good. So a lot of light workers and star seeds, like to chill. Maybe you've been liking to just relax and like take it easy. On the same time, though, wanting to get out there and make something happen. But you've just been like, whatever, maybe feeling overwhelmed. There's a lot of change and stuff going on. So with that change, now with Jupiter coming in Gemini, it's bringing out this more extroverted side of this energy. Now, when Jupiter is getting started with this energy, this is a positive. This is a good thing because we have Jupiter trining over to Pluto. And we also have Jupiter with the Sun and Venus all together within like 5 degrees. That's going to be sextiling over to Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. This is all about the ability and the willingness to surrender to whatever is going on. Now, it doesn't mean to give up or to, stop trying or stop making things happen. This is more about if you're going in a particular direction in your life, to not get attached to any outcome, to not get too tunnel vision on a vision or a zone that you want to go, because those things may change. Those bigger pictures may morph into different things. So it's like having the drive to stand in, but having the flexibility to move around and shuffle the pieces if need be. Because let's face it, the world is in a very unpredictable place right now, especially with the positioning of Saturn in Pisces, is also about learning how to be present, number one, but identifying where the self-sabotaging patterns are, number two, and not escaping. Now, the not escaping and the presence are two sides of the same coin. It's also about structuring the way that you are able to be flexible, which sounds like a contradiction, but that's kind of the world we live in right now, right? So, with that contradiction, with Uranus now getting close to coming into Gemini, Jupiter in Gemini is going to give us a taste, a beginning understanding of what Uranus in Gemini is going to look like, which is also we're going to start to see the technologies coming out like crazy fast, right? Technologies have been kind of behind the scenes, been being created in like declassified and coming out. Now the action is going to be taken, and we're going to start to see so many of these technologies that have been around for a long, long, long time, but have not been shown to the public yet. Because once people see this, they're going to be, holy crap! Like, I've been exposed to some of these technologies. 0 point frequency is one of the main ones I'm talking about, which is fascinating. This stuff can regenerate organs. It can literally heal anything. When I say anything, I mean anything. It can also it's a self regenerating energy source. It's how they use now. This can be used as in a positive or in a negative. The negative would be like direct energy weapons, which are of course you know really dark. It's not really cool. On the other side of it, though, it can go into the body, and it vibrates the cells to the 0 point, which is a still point. It's a stillness, which can regenerate organs. It can regenerate tissue. It can help you heal faster and whatnot. So all these things that you see in the movies is actually real, right? Now, I'm sure there are many more out there that I haven't figured out yet, but I'm sure I will. I'm an Aquarius moon, right? Like I tend to be introduced to these things before they get to most other people. So really be ready to see a lot of these new technologies coming up. Now, also all this AI stuff and body implants and things like this. Look, any of these things can have a positive or negative impact on humanity depending how we use it. And what is going to depend on us using it is going to be how much of the inner work that we've done on ourselves. So this is where we're going to have the opportunity, and we're going to be tested on how authentic and true we are to our heart. And because the darkness is trying to make everything scramble, right? It's scrambling our minds. With Jupiter going into Gemini, they understand these things. It's going to make mental illness is going to go to a whole new level. And this is where the healing work and really being true to your heart is going to be so important. Because if you are stuck in your head, if you are stuck in a way of your living and you're meant to evolve to another place, and you do everything you can to stay stuck there, then you're going to start to degenerate as opposed to regenerate, which is going to be the releasing and the letting go, which also comes along with the Saturn Neptune conjunction and the North Node conjuncting to Neptune and Saturn coming up into next year. This is where we are either regenerating and evolving into a higher vibration, or we are degenerating and slowly just killing ourselves. It's basically a grow or die scenario. There is no halfway point, just like they're trying to get rid of the middle class. There is no middle way anymore. And the people that are regenerating and raising their vibration are going to be the ones that are going to start to have the abundance flowing in like never seen before. The ones that are degenerating and dying, they're not going to have the energy to be able to do all the things that they were doing before. So we're going to really start to see very clearly the distinction, and the gap is going to start to separate much quicker and much more efficiently, if you will. All right. So the start of this process with Jupiter trying to Pluto and sextiling over to Neptune with Venus and the Sun, this is a really positive aspect. And then coming down into June and July, Jupiter, or Jupiter, as I like to say, is going to be sextiling and trining the North and South Node. Now, this is very powerful because the North and South Node is in the last third of its movement. So this is the mastery. This is the full integration of this identity energy. We have come in to a new identity of self. And whatever work we've done in order to be able to grow and to evolve and to let go, right? Emotional intelligence is so much an important part of the plan right now, because emotional intelligence is being able to observe everything without being attached to it. And as we're able to do that, we allow the energy to move through us and we see the lessons and we don't need to learn the karma again. So essentially, what we're learning to do, we're evolving past karma and we're all collectively being given the choice to move into dharma, which is, um, not having to relive the same learned lessons over and over again and evolving past that and creating a beautiful world that's based on Christ consciousness, right? It's based on love. In order to do that, we really have to have the courage to face all our fears and to step into the version of ourselves in a humble and authentic way. And that's the huge opportunity we have here. Okay. So Jupiter is going to come to 21 degrees of Gemini and it's going to retrograde in October of this year. And at that point, Saturn is going to also be retrograding back to 13, 12 degrees. And then we're coming into the next eclipse season. Then Jupiter is going to retrograde back to, I believe it's 11 degrees of Gemini and then move forward. And then it's going to come into Cancer next year on June 10th. Now, Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. Okay. So this is a beautiful buildup. This is sort of like the last final test of our souls. Are we going to get caught up in the distraction and in the raciness of our minds that pulls us out of our heart? Or are we going to really put all the practical application things that we put together from all the work that we've done and learn the balance of mind-heart coherence so that when Jupiter gets into Cancer, Jupiter in Cancer is all about living through the heart chakra, right? And that's the place that we're moving into. That is Christ consciousness. And right around the same time is when Neptune and Saturn are going to be coming into Aries and conjuncting. Now, because these are outer planets, these conjunctions are lasting a while and they kind of go back and forth because they retrograde and go forward, right? But they're both going to be coming into Aries about the same time. So Saturn is giving form to Neptune, the formless. But also Neptune is coming out of its home sign and coming into Aries, which is a cardinal sign. So it's going from mutable to cardinal. And then, Jupiter is going to be in a mutable sign, right? So there's a lot of mutability going on in this next year. And then June 2025 is when everything becomes cardinal again, because Cancer is also a cardinal sign. So with all that being said, we're having the opportunity to change. We're changeable. Very much moldable and changeable in this next year. So the inner work is going to be very important to stay in the heart. And then next year, 2025, is when the new book is here. And we've established all the new foundation of our soul. And this is what we've all been really working on going into for lifetimes. We are clearing out lifetimes of karma. Okay? So this is the final test, guys. This is the final chance and ability for us to move into this new timeline that's going to be starting in 2025 and living a more abundant, fulfilling life than we ever thought possible, right? For many, many, many generations, these bloodlines of these elites have been in charge, holding people down. Now it's shifting. And 2025 is a year where the shift really begins to take hold. And now it's like whoever has the biggest, most open heart is going to be running things from now on. Just like the Bible said, the meek shall inherit the earth. Meek means humble. From my interpretation, my understanding. But please let me know in the comments what you think and if you agree or not. All right. I hope this message and video finds you well. And welcome to Jupiter and Gemini. It's very, very exciting times. Get out there, create community. Help to share whatever message, whatever gift that you have developed over this time, because it is needed right now, right? To help people open their hearts and become present and join the movement of this new world that we're creating. Love you all very much. Aho.